he doesn't fit into my top 10. I know some of you will put him number 1 top 10, but I didn't. So yeah, there's someone else in there that is taking his place. If you guys have watched the channel before or have seen my other top 10 energy list, you'll know who I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna leave it. You guys will see it's coming, and then you can just destroy my comments section later. Black Lightning, very mid game, early game. Love the character in game. Do not like the TV show. Uh, but he was looming large back before Green Lantern. Hal Jordan was able to take out Harley Quinn. I would have a combination of Black Lightning and Lex, AW, Assault War Suit Lex, and they would be able to take care of her. Plus, he was like at the time the only energy tune that was worth the damage in terms of healing. This was also before Lex actually had his rework. He could strip buffs, double damage when he's overhealed. He's actually still a very good character, and you can play with him relatively easily. So I like him. Jessica Cruz, also very, very mid game for me. Absolutely love Jessica Cruz. Think she's a great tune. Farm those frags. She is now officially in heroic campaign mode, if I'm not mistaken. So those are my honorable mentions. So now let's get to the actual list. Now the more I think about it, the more I'm getting kind of worried about what this actual like. No, I got confidence in my list. I got confidence in my list, kind of. So we will see. So now coming in at number 10 is a little bit of a respect legacy pick. She still looms large in the game. I think she's still a great taunter. I think she can be really, really good, especially when paired with Kilowog, as I mentioned. And that is Power Girl. Power Girl on her A2, she turns hero taunter. She's a different kind of taunter than the ones that I really, really like, which are tanky taunters. She's more of a death immunity heal taunter, similar to Argus in that vein. She has great A3 once she has 5 strength up. She can lay down some heavy damage. Even in the end game, she can still lay down some heavy shots. So Power Girl is kind of she's very, very mid game, but she's definitely end game viable. More so than, well, in my view, more so than Jessica Cruz or Black Lightning would be, especially paired with Kilowog. She's an awesome tune. So coming in at number 10 is Power Girl. Coming in at number 9 is a tune that I already liked him before his rework, his recent rework, and I still like him. Like, that has not changed. And that is Flash, Wally West. Wally West A2 puts him on this list. The A2 is basically where you give turn meter up, so 30% turn meter up and 3 speed ups to all your allies, and you also give an awareness. Now the new one is you give an awareness and give an awareness to another ally. Just because of that, not to mention the fact that he is, well, at the time when I was using him the most, he was the fastest in the game. That was before Impulse came in. Impulse is now the fastest, but he's still kind of the most useful, if I could put it that way, because when Impulse goes first, he doesn't reduce any turn meter or give any turn meter. When Wally West goes, he's giving 30% turn meter up. So you ensure that your team goes first, especially if there's like another lead, like a Martian Manhunter or a Cheetah, and then you give him that 30% turn meter up. Like, you're really able to get your team up on good terms. Like, you put them in a perfect position to win. I was just checking to see if I should add that 10% there for the crit chance, but I'll worry about that another time. All right, so now moving on to number 8. Number 8 might be the controversial one. Hey, it doesn't want to do nothing for me, yo. Come on. So now, moving on to number 8. This is gonna be the problem. Number 8 for me is Starfire. Starfire ramps and ups when enemies attack allies. When you heal an ally, she ramps intelligence ups on her A1. Some people have called her a one-trick pony, but damn it, that's a good trick. Not to mention the fact she does stun and give hit chance downs on her A2, so it's not exactly one trick. However, she cracks skulls so hard that 9 times out of 10, you really don't need to use the stun or the hit chance downs. But she does ramp herself very well, goes very well with Lex, goes very well with Darkseid. So for me, this would be the spot where you could debate Arcus or Starfire, and I would put Starfire in over Arcus. I like her more. That's just, hey, that's me. All right, so now you have permission to nuke my comment section. Now, coming in at number 7, and now think about it, I mean, hell, maybe I should put her higher up. Okay, yeah, no. I'm gonna leave it here. Coming in at number 7 is Supergirl. Since her rework, she has become an absolute beast, especially since she can attack twice on her A1 when you hit an enemy, and they then give them that crit chance downs, and then she'll hit twice. You run her with Darkseid, that means she's hitting you 4 times more often than not. So she's absolutely incredible there. If a teammate gets a critical shot, she uses Strength of Hope, which gives everybody turn meter up, and I think it's Infinity resistance ups, which nobody cares about those. But then her A3 can do solid damage, but you're really trying to get those crit chance downs on your enemy team, and then she can just go nuts and wipe out entire teams just by using her heat vision like over and over and over again. So I'm glad they did that rework. It made her so much better. So coming in at number 7 is Supergirl. Now number 6 is a very, very much me pick, because this goes to what I like to do in the game, how I like to use taunters, and that is Clayface. Clayface is just a tanky taunter. He can't be no crit shots received. He keeps taunt on him. He makes it, and then on top of it, if that taunt ends up getting stripped, the rest of the team has invisibility, so then he's still effectively taunting. You can still only attack him. Agility ups on top of that. Now with Wonder Girl, he calls the whip. However, she's not the problem that she used to be back in the past, but still something to be aware of. But like Clayface is absolutely, to me, one of the best energy tunes in the game. Definitely get those frags. I think he might still be in the PvP shop. I'm not sure. I think he still is. So that is number 6. Now we get into the top 5. And honestly, like 5 through, let's see, 4 through 7, if you jumbled them up, I could see your point. So coming in at number 5, and he's fallen off a little bit, and I think it's because some people have discovered how good Cheetah is at doing this as well, and how fast you can get her leveled up. That's Martian Manhunter. His turn meter at the start of battles alone puts him up in the top 5, but not to mention the fact that he also gives debuff immunity on his A2. He gives the entire team awareness. He can do solid damage, but on his A3, he does then remove buffs and lay down a stun. So overall, I think Martian Manhunter is a great lead. I think I had him like number 2 or number 3 last time I did this list, but recently he has fallen off quite a bit, because the thing that you would do, or that a lot of people would do, is have Martian Manhunter paired with Black Flash, and that's just what you do. And then once Aquaman came into the game, that became a little bit less prevalent in the game. And so that kind of took away the power and the force that Cheetah and Martian Manhunter had in the game. You still see it around a lot, but not nearly as dominant as it used to be. So Martian Manhunter coming in at number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is one I gotta put him in number 4 just out of respect, just because I know the game. I hardly ever use him because there is a better option out there, but that is Green Lantern Hal Jordan. Again, just on the ability alone to start your team off with 2 turns of debuff immunity is incredible. So that alone puts him there, but then also on his A1, he calls assist if he's shielded. His hammer time does strip 10 buffs and is like the anti-Harley Quinn. His strength of will gives everybody shield and then reduces the cooldowns of all his ability. Like, he has special damage and physical damage in his kit. I think it's like one of 6 tunes that does that. So absolutely incredible tune, and farmable like everywhere in heroic campaigns. So he's very easy to get up, and he's very, very, very in-game viable. I always see a Green Lantern Hal Jordan on my PvP boards. So just out of sheer respect, even though I don't even use him that much, I got to put him in at number 4. Number 3 might have some of you guys looking at me sideways. I will say he is now the 2nd best lead in the game. I can understand why people would say he's the 1st best lead in the game. He held that crown for a while, and then it kind of got nudged when Black Flash came in, but he was still a beast. And now he is still a beast, however, for my style of play. I love how I can hide behind that. Like, for me, for my style of play. Lex comes in at number 3. Incredible healer, best healer in the game. Anytime somebody buffs, he heals them, gives them turn meter. Once you get a team going with them and start buffing pretty regularly, you're pretty much in good shape. Superboy runs well under him. Starfire runs well under him. Any special damage tunes that you can name, from Artemis straight on to give me another special down to Spectre, like they all run well under Lex because he just gives out so many int ups, gives you so much overheal that it makes your team very, very hard to take out. So Lex is absolutely incredible. Call assist on his A3, stripping buffs on his A1. Like, he's absolutely incredible. Putting him in at number 3. Number two is so valuable to me because she also is the key to my one of the keys to my Go Second team. Like, my entire Go Second team, I can't really remove anybody but Spectre. But my Go Second team would be nothing without her, because she gives debuff immunity. She gives agility ups. She'll do it again. Meltdown will proc if there aren't agility ups and you just happen to be in a bad way. When she gets her turn and she has a bunch of debuffs on her, she purges those buffs and attacks the enemy team before she gets her turn. She has a can't miss on the A1 that helps you deal with all those evasion ups. If you have any of those little SOBs who are just sticking around like Cassandra Cain and just won't die like Dove. Terra, absolutely incredible tune in the game. Number 2, I think I had her much further down, but her utility is just so fantastic. And I hate that I didn't get her new 52 skin, because I love that skin. And I didn't get it, and I might have to get it next time it's in the shop. And the moment I have enough frags, I'm taking her RB1. So, Terra comes in at number 2. Who's number 1, you might ask? Some of you probably are like, that's kind of obvious. And some of you have probably forgotten about who should be number 1. And he should be number 1. He should always be number 1, just because, well, yeah, I'm about to go into a rant about something that might be a little bit overboard, but they fixed his bug. He's usable again, and when you use him, he's an absolute monster. That is Superman. After Superman's rework, he just became an absolute beast, and I absolutely love him for it. On his A1, which he'll do randomly, he can stun. He ramps like hell, gives himself a ton of strength ups, gives himself death immunity, damage immunity. Like, he purges all of his buffs, 85% chance to purge buffs whenever he gets his, or debuffs whenever he gets his turn. Like, absolutely incredible, best energy lead in the game. I am tempted to say best lead in the game. And I mean, there are other leads that I use a lot more. And that's because he had that bug going and I was just avoid using him. And I used him a couple of times, and to this point, there hasn't been like another like gigantic reset and I got to start the whole game over. So I think they were able to fix the bug. And if they were, Superman's going to be on my roster. Like, he's going to be on all of my PvP teams just about. So absolutely love Superman. He is where he belongs, at number 1. I will say this though, and I said this before, let's go ahead and switch over the skins. These Russian pajamas, I don't know, they should have given us the Red Sun suit that they gave. I'm still upset about that. 2 years later, I'm still bitter. But black suit, love it. Still like the Superman Beyond more. But I'm gonna say this. The is that? Like, what the is that? It bothers me. It looks weird. Looks like it should be in the Umbrella Academy. I don't like it. I like Umbrella Academy. I don't like that. That I don't like. I don't even want to look at it no more. Get me off that. Get me off that. That suit's ugly too. Like, he has like 6 skins and half of them are just booty ugly. Like, ugh. Anyway, that's going to do it. Let me know your top 10. Put it in the comment section below. Help me get to 1,000. I'm almost there. Then once I hit monetization, I can open up so many more avenues for things I can do, including maybe repairing this computer. So, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
There is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
Hi guys, Uncrafted here, and this is a DC Legends video. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 tunes in the game, and I haven't done this list in a while because like doing it every month was just kind of like, I'm really like just replacing 1 or 2, but this was like right before the Black Flash like campaign to knock Black Flash out of PvP by the developers of WB. So the list has changed up a bit, and I have to be honest, like I've made the list like twice and it ended up different. So I'm thinking that's coming from like I still believe like PvP has never been this balanced. Part of it is probably because I am in game and I have a lot more tunes 7011 than I did 3 years ago. But also there is a dominating force, but that dominating force isn't as dominating as Black Flash was for all that time. So in any case, we're going to get into the top 10. I'm going to announce the winner of the second round of the DC Legends Ultimate Kit Challenge. And then I'm going to go into a mailbag and then answer some of your, or talk about or answer some of your comments, questions, whatever. So before we get into all of that, I drop DC Legends videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I don't have a stupid, ridiculous schedule. So please like, please subscribe. And if you don't like it, hit subscribe and hit dislike. I'm okay with that as well. So sorry for the interruption. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner. I have to be just frank. This one wasn't even close. It was Talia Al Ghul versus Eugene Choi. And the winner by 87.5% of the vote is Eugene Choi. So that means that Eugene Choi, Tuditron, will meet Overtone in the final. Overtone has the rework kit for Ravager, and Tuditron has the kit for Eugene. So I'm going to read the kit for Eugene. I'm going to read the kit for Ravager. Then I'm going to go right into the top 10 list. So final round of the Ultimate Kit Challenge is going to run for a week and a half just because I got late this week. So I'm going to run it for a week and a half. So you guys, please vote. Please vote. Check the link in the pinned comment below or in the description. Vote for who you think has the best kits created by you guys, the viewers, or the subscribers, I should say. So we have Eugene, Affinity, Mystical, Gear, Special Striker, Speed 116, Fire Guns, 1 light damage attack on target and 1 light damage attack on a random enemy. Gain 3 crit chance ups. Hadouken every time I'm going to do it. Heavy special damage to the target. Apply 4 crit damage downs. Legendary, gain death immunity. This is awesome. Give 40% shield to all allies and gain 3 and ups. Legendary, all of Eugene's attacks until the end of his next turn cannot miss. Shooter game, Eugene gains a crit chance up at the end of every enemy turn. Anytime he gets attacked, he uses finger guns for each hit chance up and then purges them all. Legendary. This effect also triggers when a Shazam family member is attacked. I'm so good at this. At the beginning of Eugene's turn, gain True Sight. If an enemy is taunting, apply 2 int downs to enemy team. So there you go. There's Eugene. And now Overtone. Let me go ahead and scroll this up a little bit. I am going to read Overtone's remarks because his is a rework kit. Tuditron's is just a brand new kit to introduce a new character. So, remarks. Ravager's original kit was really self-centered, as only she could avoid taking damage with her ability to see the future. She still has a mouth, however, so she can warn others. So, the main idea was to improve the odds of getting damage immunity and giving it to her teammates as well. Since she is not at the power level of my commonly used tunes, I cannot compare her stats well. However, since she has the highest strength of all tunes, or 10th highest strength of all tunes, I think she doesn't need a boost for that. So, kit, Death Barrage. Apply 2 light damage bursts to an enemy, 50% chance to do a 3rd damage burst. Legendary, gain 5% true heal for each burst. Exploding Canister. Damage to all enemies, 35% extra chance to apply Silence for 1 turn to each enemy that gets hit. This is a 35% chance for each individual tune. That's him just kind of clarifying that. Then Legendary, gain 2 strength up for 1 turn per enemy that gets silenced. Previously, it was per enemy that was already silenced. So it's giving it to you after the fact. Ravage, heavy damage to an enemy, ignore shields, and deal additional 150% damage if the target is below 25% health. That is overkill. Legendary, if the target is killed, use Ravage on a random enemy. Silent Strikes passive ability, 45% chance to silence for 1 turn the target each time Ravager deals damage. Legendary, start the battle with 4 strength ups. Heritage, passive ability, 100% chance, that was 65%, to change damage immunity, to gain damage immunity, a 0-turn damage immunity at the beginning of an enemy turn if that enemy is silenced. Legendary, 50% chance to apply damage immunity to the rest of the team as well. All or nothing for each individual member of the team, like with exploding canister. So, those are the kits. They both look pretty awesome. I'm going to be real about it. Vote for the one that you think deserves to win that $50 grand prize. The winner of this round will receive $50 towards the web shop of their choice. I've just have to figure out which one, where there's Amazon, the Apple Store, Google Play, whatever, towards the web shop of their choice. So there is that. Please vote. Pin comment in the description. Now we're gonna get into the top 10, but before we do the top 10, here are some honorable mentions, and these aren't even all the honorable mentions. Like it's so ridiculous. You have Cheetah and you have Martian Manhunter. I've gotten a little bit more into Cheetah lately, given some of the strength up tunes that I have been using. So, and her turn meter is still a big deal. It's still very nice to have. Yara Flor, she's in there just because I don't think she's in the top 10, maybe not even in the top 20. However, I have started to use her. I think she's a great tune that's worth investing in, an awesome AoE damage dealer. Martian Manhunter, maybe I should have put him in the top 10. Maybe I should have put Cheetah in the top 10. Like, if you guys want to argue that they should be in there, I can't call it. Y'all, I'll let y'all be the final judge on that one. I can't call it. But still an amazing tune. Turn meter up. The debuff immunity that he gives on his A2, the awareness at the beginning of battle is incredible. Supergirl, not sure she should be in the top 10. But she has devastating damage. That A1 hitting twice once you have crit chance or crit damage downs, all that jazz. Like, she is absolutely incredible. Now, to go into it, we are going to go. Now, number 10. Number 10 I'm putting here basically out of spite. He's higher than number 10, but because I'm so happy that he's out of the game, not out of the game, but not the king anymore, is Black Flash. He could definitely be up higher on this list, but this is me kind of just spitting in his face. Like, I'm so glad you're not the king of PvP anymore, that I know I have to put you in the top 10, but you can be number 10. So I'm only putting him there because I have to, basically, in my mind. Now remember, guys, this is my top 10, highly subjective, and even more so now. And honestly, as I read it, I could redo this list again. Like, it is what it is. But, so, going back, number 9. She has hit PvP by storm, and she is the reason why you need debuff immunity, and I am talking about Dr. Poison. Her AoE attack is incredible. In fact, I'm going to read it just again just because it's just so... 10% damage to all enemies and apply 3 bleeds. 10% true damage. Apply 3 bleeds, additional light damage to enemy team per bleed on team can't miss. Like, that is nuts. And that light damage per bleed on team, if the team has a whole lot of bleeds, it's not light damage anymore, right? So she's incredible. Absolutely love Dr. Poison. So in at number 9, sometimes I put her in one of my special ramp teams that I had Starfire in, and I still use Starfire when the enemy team is mostly physical. But if the enemy team is mostly mystic, then I'll put Dr. Poison in that position with Lex at lead. Then you have Hippolyta to give those int ups. And you have Red Robin to give the turn meter to Lex, so that way he's giving more int ups, he's giving more overheal. Hippolyta gives those int ups, and then by the time you get to Dr. Poison, who is special damage, she's wrecking people with the AoE if she wasn't already. So, in any case, let's go ahead and go back. So now number 8. Where's number 8? Because let's see, I've even like scribbled it out. Number 8, yo. Maybe he shouldn't be number 8. Number 8 might be highly debatable. And that would be Darkseid. Darkseid, his passive ability is still boss. Like, the 75% chance for all enemies to have a call assist on themselves. And then his A1, like, he works just as well off lead as he does on lead. And sometimes he's just better off lead. He gives himself 4 in-ups whenever he does his A1, and then he attacks twice on that A1. Like, he's absolutely incredible. Still hits like a truck. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to have him at number 8. Now I'm starting to think, like, maybe I should have put Martian Manhunter at number 8 and put him in honorable mentions. I don't know. All right, but I'm leaving him at number 8 because I do still think he's an incredible tune, and I do use him now more than I use Martian Manhunter because of some of the tunes that are coming up next. But in any case, next, who is number 7 on the list? She has had a resurgence in value given the buff heavy meta that we have now, and that is Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl, like given the fact that we have like Terra running around, Barter running around, Soups now with a whole bunch of buffs, like having Wonder Girl and using her is sometimes key if you want to get past certain elements of the game. She's not as devastating with that whip as she used to be, at least for me back in the mid game, back when I was in my mid game days. But she can be, and if you pair her with Killer Walk and give her empowered strength ups, then when she starts cracking that whip out of turn, it's even more devastating. So I'm gonna put Wonder Girl at number 7. Like I have this stupid like eating smile on my face because I'm sitting here like all this stuff can be debated. Like all of it, every single bit of it. If anybody was like, yeah, no, that's not true, that's not good, I'll be like, oh yeah, you're probably right. So now in at number 6. Number 6 is going to be Lex. His value has surged above Martian Manhunter's a little bit because part of Martian Manhunter's because I used to have Martian Manhunter as a better lead, but now I use Martian Manhunter less than I would use Lex. And that's because Lex still has that overheal, still has a turn meter manipulation whenever anybody buffs. But on top of it, part of the thing I didn't realize is that Martian Manhunter's value was partially connected to Black Flash, and Black Flash's ability to like just basically turn meter lock an entire team. So that kind of diminished his value once the turn meter meta kind of went away. Turn meter down when meta went away. So now Lex's value has surged once again. So giving those end ups, giving that overheal, giving that turn meter up is absolutely incredible at lead. So we'll go back and now at number 5. Did I have number 5? Okay, yeah, I have number 5. Number 5 is a must-have, and I really wish that I had her at RB1 at least, and that is Terra. Terra is absolutely a must-have now, especially with Dr. Poison out there running around. You have that debuff immunity, then that kind of protects you against her. The agility ups helps protect you against physical damage. She is still a boss tune in this game. It helps you deal with a lot of the stuns, bleeds, and everything that's kind of running around now. Like, even with Riddler, Riddler is a beast, but he is not the beast that he could be because Terra exists. And, I mean, you can say the same thing about Green Lantern Hal Jordan, but she just does everything he does, but better and off lead. So, now we will go ahead and go to number 4. Have to put her in because she is the best taunter in the game. On that list I wrote, like, last time, I didn't have her on the list, actually. And then I redo the list, and now she's number 4. Like, that should tell you how much balance and how indecisive I was about all of this. So anyway, Barda, still the best taunter in the game. You touch her, and then she procs her A2 again. All those stamina ups, helping your team's HP pool go deeper and deeper and deeper, making everybody in your team harder to kill. So absolutely love Barda, and she's still, and actually maybe I'll get her back in her other skin. All right, so Barda in at number 4. Now number 3. Number 3, I did not intend for him to be this high. But then after I made the list, like, because what I do is I'll write the names down first that I think should be in the top 10. And then I'll number them, and then I'll go back and reread the numbers and reread the ones that didn't make it, and then like do it all over again. And that's how I typically do my top 10. And originally I had him in at number 10, number 9, until I decided I wanted to kind of like get Black Flash, make sure he's at number 10. But it's kind of undeniable how valuable he is on and off lead, and that is Aquaman. He legitimately changed the PvP meta, brought down all the turn meter down. Turn meter down is still out there, still you can still use it, it still exists, and that's the other plus. He changed the meta without becoming the meta himself. He didn't like absolutely destroy everything about PvP and become the new king. It is that he just added balance to everything. I'm seeing different leads on my PvP board all the time. I can't just sit there and do one team. And actually that may not be 100% true because there is one team that I do build with him that I call my Go Second team. If you've watched any of my previous videos, where you have him at lead, Barda, Terra, and then Spectre as the quote-unquote damage dealer. And with that team, nobody can crit. If you give us turn meter down, then he's going to give us turn meter up and reduce the turn meter of your team. Stamina ups there for Barda for the rest of the team. Deepen the HP pool. Agility ups from Terra that makes us less susceptible to physical damage. Plus the debuff immunity means that you guys can't really make us bleed, can't stun us, and this Spectre's there just to wipe you guys out. So he is key to my go second team the more I think about it. But he himself, I can make 100 other teams. He can be on lead, off lead, because that Terminator manipulations is just a passive. It's not a leadership ability. So he's absolutely incredible. He's changed things. I'm absolutely in love with using Aquaman, and I just took him RB1. And this, he looks like such a douche like that. I prefer the beard, chopped off hand, saving his son. That's what I'm talking about. So now on to number 2. Number 2, I did not intend for him to be at number 2. I really didn't. But he's changed so much, and he can be so devastating that I mean, if you guys want to debate it, you can, but I do use him a lot, and I'm having fun using him, and that is Superman. Superman, he is a great taunter. He's a great turn 0 taunter now. He hits like a truck. He gives himself death immunity, damage immunity. He purges all buffs at the start of his turn, 85% chance. Like, he is absolutely incredible right now, like in this game. And I would love to pair him with Kilowog. However, part of the problem with him and Kilowog together is the fact that he'll put damage immunity on himself, so he's not taking any crit shots, so he's not getting any empowered strength ups. But other than that, he does pair well just getting those strength ups. You can make him your taunter / damage dealer, and then just put support around him. Just have a bunch of support and heal around him, and you're good to go. So that is Supes in at number 2, and I guess you guys can guess who number 1 is. That is Spectre. He very quickly took the place of king of PvP once Black Flash went down. If you haven't run into him, if you don't know why he's number 1, I don't know what to tell you. Like, everything about his kit works so well together. He has now become obnoxious. I do try to refrain from using him, although I do still have a lot of fun using him. I do enjoy using him a lot, but sometimes he feels like a cheat code. It was like Black Flash before, but he feels like a cheat code. If I'm having a problem with a certain team and I can't get past it, and I really don't feel like going through it, I will just put Spectre in with whoever and end up winning at the end of the day. However, he isn't what Black Flash was, so he isn't dominating PvP. You're not seeing him on every team and on every board, but he is probably the most frequently used, now that I think of it. He's probably most frequently seen in PvP. So that is my top 10. It goes number 10, Black Flash. Number 9, Dr. Poison. Number 8, Darkseid. 7, Wonder Girl. 6, Lex support suit. Number 5 is Terra. 4, Barda. 3, Aquaman. Yay, Aquaman. First time I've ever said that in my life. Number 2, Supes, and number 1, Spectre. So let me know your top 10. Put them in the comments below. Tell me where I'm wrong and stupid, because I'm wrong and stupid on most of this stuff. So go ahead and let me know. Put it down there below. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit of a mailbag. I saw a couple of interesting comments, actually. And apologies, like I always say, for not being able to get to all of your comments. But the love is there, and I really, really appreciate the comments. So first is from Chuck Nitty. He has 2, actually. But the first one is, who would you use against Martian Manhunter as lead alongside Starfire and Black Flash? Just wondering, my brother. This was on the Indigo 1 in-depth. Well, first of all, Aquaman would have to be on that list. I don't know if you were talking about just... See, here's the thing. I don't know if you're talking just in terms of just farmable. So, like, if you have Aquaman, then I would definitely put him on there. If not, and you're looking for a farmable option, then you're going to look at, like, Harley Quinn, just because the chance of evasions, the chance of those evasion ups, Black Flash misses on those evasion ups, and then she'll retaliate and hopefully take out Black Flash. However, that will probably set off Spectre. Like, you're in a difficult way here. Then on top of having Aquaman, I'd probably put Lady Shiva in there to one-shot Spectre before he gets a chance to get going. If you don't have Lady Shiva, the other alternative I use to get rid of Spectre is Batman CC. The only issue you have to worry about there is if you have, is that they all have awareness because of Martian Manhunter. Kilowog, I would toss in there as well, because I can give the turn meter down to Spectre. Oh, by the way, at lead here, it would be Cheetah. just because you're trying to match the turn meter. And even if Black Flash gets a chance to go, like, how do I put this? You're either going to do it one of two ways. You're going to do it where it's going to be like a go second team, like I described before, with Aquaman at lead, and then maybe a Barda or a Harley Quinn, depending on your roster. That's the problem. I need to see your roster to tell you how you need to build it. Then you would have Tara to help protect against physical damage, and then whatever damage dealer you want in the meantime, Spectre if you have them. But at the same time, if you're not building a go second team, let me back out of here real quick. If you're not building a go second team, then it's kind of difficult to match up if you don't have Black Flash. If you don't have Black Flash, you can use Cheetah, Harley Quinn. Hopefully, Harley Quinn will get back at Black Flash for attacking. Cassandra Cain is also good in that situation as well. If you have Dr. Poison, yes. The other issue with Dr. Poison is that she's going to go after all of this, which means you have to have Harley Quinn or have Aquaman as well. The key to this right now is Aquaman. Other than that, build an evasion up team. Actually, let me check and see if there's anything else I can give you. Any other recommendations I can give. I'm trying to think mostly on the physical side of things. Let's see. Azrael's always nice with Barda. Poison Ivy gonna do a video of her today. She's not an option. Don't take it that way. Green Lantern, Emerald Knight. No, not really. Harley Quinn, I would say if you have Riddler, drop Riddler in there because they don't have any debuff immunity. So at this point, part of what you're probably going to do is try to aim towards debuff immunity. I do like using Bane in this situation if you're mid-game and then have maybe a green or a mystic taunter. I would say a mystic taunter because of Starfire, Spectre, and Black Flash. That way you keep Martian Manhunter off of Bane until Bane has a chance to ramp up. Put in your own Star Sapphire. Give Bane overheal so he can start doing those out-of-turn attacks against Starfire, Spectre, and Black Flash. Build your team as tanky and as beefy as you possibly can. So right now I'm looking at Bane as well with Star Sapphire to overheal him. Having maybe Grundy in at the Taunter if you have Grundy. And then on top of that, at lead, probably still have Cheetah. That's like some of my recommendations for that. So I hope that helped you out. I really do. Then next, Dr. Poison's Bloody Grenades definitely ruins lives. It does, man. And if you don't have her to try to go at this with like Aquaman, then I don't know. I have to see your roster. I really have to see your roster. That comment was also from Chuck Nitty. Demo Dougie, I have zero problems with Arcus, but number one. This is the comment on my top 10 Energy Tunes list. This was, this is like one of the videos I did with Dr. Zabarro. I need to redo this list. And in fact, I have some vacation days coming up. So I'm going to be redoing top 10 Energy, top 10 Physical, top 10 Mystic. Somebody also gave me the idea of top 10 duos. I'm definitely going to do that. I still got to do my top 10 coolest costumes in the game. Definitely got to work on that. So like during those days off, I'm going to try to pump out as much or make as much content as I can so I can pump it all out while I'm back at work. So let's go ahead and drop in this one. And then we have Bokal Singh. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. In fact, I probably did. In fact, I know I did. So I apologize in any case. He says, I like Dr. Poison. Too nice. She is really nice. That was on the Indigo One video. Lynn Rose replied to my reply to her reply to my video about in terms of farming. And I love you, Lynn Rose. It's really long, and I'm coming long on this video. So what I'm going to do is I am going to like have to do this on the next mailbag. I apologize, but it's long. And honestly, what I might do is just give you an independent mailbag because of the topic. And then somebody else is replying to you, disagreeing with you. And then somebody disagrees with him when he disagrees with you. It's a whole thing. I'll get you guys I'll get you guys in a comment later, but that's a shout out to, I'll just give you guys a shout out. Lynn Rose, Divine Fist 317, and then Diego True. So like, I see your comments. I'm going to get to them, but for right now, it's a little bit too much of an in-depth conversation. I'm already running long. So, and on the last one, Daniel Beatty on the How to Beat Cal Rayner event and the mailbag. As I enter the mid-game, getting an idea of what tunes to work on, as well as all the combinations to create, is a big help. I was having some difficulty with this event. I now have a path. So thank you for that. Somebody actually requested that style of video. The next event, I think I'm gonna try to do something similar as well. As I said before, like the main problem I have is that I'm so far along in the game that those events is not necessarily about building a synergy around a team. It's more about like I just have Beast, and so I'm just gonna release the dogs and let them take care of the event. But I will try in the future to do more for those events, just to do I'm going to go through the event, go through the team itself, which means it'll probably take a couple days for me to even make the video. Go through the team itself, go through the event itself, see what you're having to face, and then maybe build a team and its synergies based on that. Like that's the idea. That's what I'm going to try to do. So if that's possible, in fact, we have an event coming up soon, so I'm going to try to do it with her event. Tula, I believe, she's the one who's coming up now. I haven't even read the review yet. Oh. In any case, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Please remember to vote for the final round of the Ultimate Kit Challenge. The link is description, pinned comments. Thanks again so much for watching all the way through, and I'll see you next time.
There is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
Hi guys, Zabarro here, and this is a DC Legends video. In this video, we're going to try to do two jobs here. First, we're going to do the top 10 physical tunes in the game, and by first, I mean that's coming after this edition of Riddle Me This, where we're going to go through a few questions. A lot of these questions came from Gilberto, which basically, let's just say Riddle Me This featuring Gilberto. There was Gilberto who put in a few questions in Nightwing 21. Much appreciated and much love to you guys for doing that for us. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started and introduce Dr. Zabarro.
Hi there.
So for those of you who don't know, Dr. Zabarro, as I mean, you might have heard in my videos, I call him my DC Legends Yoda. We are in the same alliance, which is the Drunken Irish Alliance. That is where we met. He is probably single-handedly responsible for at least 90% of the knowledge I have in the game. And as you guys can see, I'm drinking grapefruit juice instead of coffee because it is really late where I am right now. So in any case, we are going to just hop right into it and get it started just so we make sure I get everything done in time. So I'm going to throw this question out to Dr. Zabarro, which is from Gilberto. Would you guys like a new PvP mode that would give more rewards? So like a tower mode and some extra missions. If you kill a certain amount of enemies, everybody, or where people have to finish the fastest. So basically what Gilberto Jr. is asking is like, would you be interested in a new PvP mode? And the ideas he's giving are like basically like a tower mode, and also a record mode where you have to complete a level as fast as possible. So, Dr. Zabarro, I'll throw that to you first.
So I wrote down three things for this. The first, not really a mode, but I'd like to see the possibility of additional slots. So 5 slots instead of just 4.
Oh, yeah.
5, maybe even 6, but a way that would enhance what we already have, and I don't think it would be that much of a difficulty. Be nice to. My second one is I'd like to see a versus mode, potentially.
Like a live PvP, or just a one-on-one.
A one-on-one, something like that.
Yeah.
And let me qualify all this by saying, I don't think any of this will ever happen.
I tend to be in agreement.
And the third thing is not really a mode, but something I've wanted for a long time is a sandbox.
What now?
A sandbox. So a place where you can take your characters in and test them.
Oh, a training ground of sorts.
Yeah, where you can run compositions like, I want to see how well this composition will work against, set up different scenarios.
That would be awesome.
I would really like a sandbox, but we don't have one of those.
That would be absolutely awesome to do that. Actually, I just had one idea, but then you gave me another one. Where it is 5 slots. I would actually like to see it. I think was it Tenkin Tag Team that did this first? It might have been Capcom versus Marvel, something like that, where you have 8 slots, but you're only fighting 4 players, and then you can, when one team goes down, then the other 4 come in to finish up whatever PvE thing you're doing, or you can substitute them one by one as one health get lower or something like that. So where you're doing basically like a long-term play for a tower, like a tower that would have 100 levels, and then instead of it just stopping at having 5 waves, it has the last level has 20 waves, and so you have to pick 8 heroes that'll be able to get through all of those waves without dying. Something along those lines. Something that'll where you can use the same mechanics, but it becomes increasingly more difficult, and you don't just get to think about 4. You have to think about more than that. So that was really the only idea I had, but I would love to see Red Alerts is kind of that tower thing. That's what they're trying to do there. But if they made it a little bit more fine-tuned to focus on increasing difficulty as you go up, then I think that would be what we're looking for.
Yeah, we kind of have that in the Nightmare Challenge currently.
True, but Spectre broke Nightmare. Spectre totally broke Nightmare campaign like that. He the first time I figured out that I could get through like levels 11, all I have to really do is like make the first wave last long enough for him to have like 300 awareness or whatever, and then I can just mow through the rest. Because as he's gathering awareness and these int ups, now he's one-shotting everything that comes into his way after that. So, like, he definitely broke Nightmare campaign, at least for me. All right, so next question.
That's all you. That's all you on this one.
Yeah, okay, so Gilberto's also wanting me to do another kit challenge. The last one was about 2 months ago. So I'm going to say it's going to be in the next 3 to 4 months. I'm going to try to do it twice a year, maybe a little bit more. It depends. If there's others of you interested in it happening more immediately, I mean, share it and let me know. Like if somebody out there, or you want to put it on whatever, share it. If there's interest, if there's increased interest, if you guys are commenting you want it again, then I'll do it again sooner. But right now, I thought like give a little break, a little reprieve, and then bring it back like surprise, this contest is back. So let me know if I'm thinking in the wrong way. Next question. What are your go-to raid comps for each Affinity boss? That is Dr. Zabarro's area for real.
This is a very easy question. You really only need 3. Only 3 characters that you need.
Already know.
Darkseid, Alita, Superwoman. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, this works for most raids except Superboy Prime, Trigon, which is really just a reskin Superboy Prime.
Yeah.
And the Scarecrow raid. I think those are the only 3 it doesn't work for.
I mean, it does, depending on who you put in that 4th slot. So, like, for example...
The Scarecrow, you can throw in Terra and it will work.
Terra or Owlman. Pick one, because by the time you get that A1 from Darkseid, if he keeps stunning Scarecrow, then you're good to go. Superboy Prime and Trigon, I didn't pay much attention to, and I think that's because when those raids were coming around, I was burned out on them, and I was just doing my default Hippolyta team, Hippolyta, Darkseid, Superwoman, and Owlman. That was what I was running against everybody. And every once in a while, I would drop in Supergirl in place of either Owlman or Superwoman. But it was usually, if I just kept Superwoman in, no matter the affinity, because of the way she ramps, she was going to do high million damage. So
she even destroys the opposite affinity.
Yeah, like really destroys, like legit 2, 3, 4, 5 million hits. Like hit, not total, like hits. So you don't really have to change it much. I mean, if you want to say Superwoman probably broke raid. So the
synergy among those 3 is very, very well, because Hippolyta is enabled by Darkseid because she gets that second hit, and when she gets that second hit with her basic, she resets that ability that lets her run her third that gives everyone call assists. So call assists are coming all over the place.
Yep.
And what you're really trying to do is get Superwoman to call assist.
Yes.
And then if you just auto that team, you don't have. I don't ever run raid where I'm doing it manually.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be. And if you have to run manually, then you need to rethink your setup altogether to begin with. Exactly. Like that raid is not made for manual. So that is our. We actually agree on that one. All right.
The only thing I would add is Arcus is useful from time to time.
I don't think I've ever really used him.
But he's not essential. But he's useful. If you have those three, that's all you need. But
I'm not going to necessarily disagree with that because I haven't really used him. I tried to use Starfire a bit because she does ramp on her A1 as well, and she does get those multiple hits, and having Hippolyta there to potentially give int ups could work, but Hippolyta only uses her A3 really when she goes into raid because it keeps getting reset, right?
Yeah, I would say if you're an early game player where you're restricted on options, pairing Lex with, because Lex is decent. If you're limited for options, if you don't have these three, Lex with maybe what's the one you just mentioned?
Starfire or Supergirl?
Starfire, yeah. Starfire, yeah. Lex and Starfire go well together.
They do.
Because she's getting extra hits through the heals.
And not only just that, but then he's also giving her the int ups to ramp up even higher.
Yeah, but my advice would be get Darkseid, Hippolyta, and Superwoman, especially Superwoman, as soon as you can. In fact, I think is there still that Darkseid sale, or is that going now?
By the time this video comes out, it'll be over by the time this video comes out, but there is a Darkseid pack, 11K for 250 frags. And as I am a staunch advocate against buying packs, I have to admit I did just buy a Red Hood pack to get him RB1. But I will say, because of the resources you can get from Raid, I would not be opposed to getting like a Darkseid pack or a Superwoman pack if they show up. Superwoman is just so valuable in that arena that it's nuts.
Yeah, and the amount of rewards, I didn't realize how much I relied on Raid to give me XP mats.
Yeah, I have unlimited XP mats basically because of it.
Because with this past Raid, with December not having a Raid, I started taking some select characters from 70 to 80. And I just realized I'm running low on those XP mats, which is the first time in a very, very long time. And I think it's because we didn't have that raid.
I will say this, though, because of that raid, or because of raids in general, I don't think I could use all of my level 1 and level 2 XP mats if I wanted to. Like, I have an insane, in fact, I'll look right now because I have a absolutely nuts amount of, I have, 8,000 level 1s, which seems kind of soft, but I have 30,000 level 2s. So, I mean, it'll cost more essence to use them, but I don't know if I'm ever in a pinch, then that works out well. Okay. So we will move on. Those questions were from Gilberto Jr. Much love to you, my dude. Much love to you. This last question comes from Nightwing21. Is there a strategy for farming tunes from heroic nodes? Like, do you, for example, spend gems to reset nodes or anything like that? Or is it just extreme patience, especially when it comes to single node tunes like Flash and Black Adam? Dr. Zabaro.
Just one quick correction. I think the last two questions were from Nightwing, if I remember correctly.
Let me double check because I think. Oh yeah, no, the last two. Also the Affinity bosses. Sorry, Nightwing. Sorry, my bad. You had those last two, and Gilberto had the first two. So.
Okay, so the farming heroics, I would You can't. I don't spend gems to reset, but there are folks that do. Like I know one of our alliance mates,
Mm-hmm.
um, Q Gamer, would be here saying that he refreshed the Wonder Woman POT for the longest time.
I
Although
did too.
she's
I did do the
so
Wonder Woman POT for a while.
although she is so power crept right now, I don't ever use her.
Mm-hmm.
Her skills are really good. She's just so power crept right now that
Yeah.
I find it difficult.
All
Even though,
she needs is a stat boost. Like that's all she
yes,
needs, and she'd be fine.
yes, that's it. But in terms of like farming for Flash and other things, um, you can reset it if you want. I would say the GPF, the gem per fragment cost is
Mm-hmm.
reasonable. I don't remember what it is. I haven't done the
I
math.
think when you reset, it's 25 the first two times to reset, and then you have the potential to get 1 to 3 frags. So that ratio is good. Like even if you only got one frag from it, it's still a 1 to 5, 1 to 25 ratio.
Anything under 30 is decent.
Yeah,
When you start getting in the teens or below, you're in a really great deal. But
yeah,
20 to 30 is reasonable for
yeah.
the GPF, the gems per fragment cost. So you can do the math yourself if you want to. But what I would encourage is just wait and not wait to keep farming from the particular nodes.
Hmm.
Wait for events to come out,
Yeah.
like the 6 day or whatever. And I would say when I was a first very early player several years ago, I did buy a couple Green Lantern packs over the years
Hmm.
to advance him quicker. And if you want to do that, if you're very early, I would largely overall not advise that. But if you're trying to quick start yourself,
Hmm.
say you're in the first 3 or 4 months of playing, then something like that can help you along. But otherwise, I just wait for the big events that
I
come
would
along the
s-
6 days.
I would agree, like wait for the big events in the sense of the ones that reset daily. If you're spending gems on those have a really good gem to frag ratio, especially on the last node of it, if you can make it to the last node. If you're asking this question, you probably can't though, but if you can, then cool. But I might, given what you said before about buying that Green Lantern pack, what I might say is for those single node tunes, which are like Flash, Black Adam, Star Sapphire, you can find a red alert, so there's no reason to do hers. um, Green Lantern John Stewart is not good. No reason to do his. But Wonder Woman POT, Flash, and Black Adam, though they're good, like the way the meta is now. I wouldn't use the gems on them just because of that. I would use the gems and reset the nodes if that is what you're going to do. I would reset the nodes of the heroic tunes who have multiple nodes. So if you're trying to focus on Lex SS, then refresh all of his nodes, like, because he has multiple nodes in heroic, and that gives you a lot of frags, and you can level him up quicker. Same thing with Green Lantern. Same thing with Cheetah. Like, you can. Flash is great and fun, and you can make him work, but I don't really use him that much unless I just want to have fun. Black Adam, I do not use at all unless, like, there's an event where he is there, then he wipes out campaign still. And Wonder Woman POT, as we said, if she had a like a just a stat boost, then she'd be the best heroic, like the best. Well, no, 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 no. Lex might still be that, but she would be one of the best that you could farm from campaign. But she's not. So as it stands, I would say if you're going to reset nodes, be patient if you can. But if you're going to reset them, do Lex, do Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, do Cheetah, do those nodes with the heroes that have multiple ones. Then you can level them up relatively quickly.
Yeah, and just to add that, I think there's only three worth doing this for, and you just mentioned all three of them: Lex, Al Jordan, and Cheetah. I think those are the only three. And Lex should be your number one priority if you don't have him, if you're early
Yeah,
game.
I would say that. And then on top of it, I will say this. This is coming from like Bane is great in the early and mid game. Batman is good early game. Grundy's actually a really good taunter in game as well. The three that we named, Cheetah, Green Lantern, and Lex, they're always going to be good. So we're giving you this advice because we're like, yeah, put the frags into them, because then when you get up to the higher levels or towards the end game, you're already a step ahead. But if you put that effort into Bane, who is one of my favorites, and I can use him in Endgame if I wanted to, but there are plenty of better options than putting all those resources into a character that's just going to fall off after the mid game. Isn't really you'd be better served doing it for those other three that we named. So I think that's it for Riddle Me This right now. And so what we're going to do is just hop right into our top 10 physical tunes. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer about myself, and then I'll let Dr. Zabarro give a disclaimer about his. Dr. Zabarro inspired me after we did our top 10 energy, because his number one at that time was Arcus. I don't know what the energy number one would be for him now. And I'm doing physical because it's kind of obvious who the number one of the Mystics is. So I'm doing my list is kind of inspired by him in terms of versatility, but also just who I use the most. So this might be as subjective as I've ever just intentionally tried to be. All my lists are subjective, but as I've intentionally tried to be from my playing style, my list is formed. And Dr. Zabarro, let's give an explanation of your list.
Yeah, my list for the energy affinities would be different now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do the top 10 reds.
Yes.
And just to explain how I did this, I just used one criterion. Who do I use the most? Who am I actually slotting?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not necessarily a reflection of who is the most powerful, or although it may in some cases be.
Yeah.
But it's who I'm finding the most use with.
Okay.
So that's how I rank ordered my list.
All right. So then go ahead and kick it off. Who is your number 10? Start with number 10.
My number 10 is raids only, and that's Superwoman. So I put her on the list only because that is what I use her for.
I am so upset with you right now. Literally,
I don't use her in PvP at all.
Down to the exact reason I have Superwoman number 10 as well. By the way, we don't discuss these, like we discuss how we formed our list, but we don't discuss what's actually on the list beforehand, just because better content. And I was literally on the tram on the way home from work. Like, I got to put Superwoman in because the amount of rewards you get, we just talked about how she broke raid, basically, and the amount of resources you get just from raid. And that is because Superwoman can lay down a 7 million hit on a negative affinity without being a multiplier that day in raid. Like, she just cracks skulls once she gets ramped, and in raids, that's the ultimate place for her to ramp. She can't ramp in PvP. So she probably can ramp in PvE, but not PvP. So
she's decent in the Nightmare Challenge too. I should give her props for that.
She's not bad, but she can fall relatively quickly. Like there's
you have to protect her.
Yeah, that's the thing with her there. So well, hell, there's number 10. All right. So then give me your number 9.
My number 9, and this is because I realized I started running out of characters that I use a lot. So this particular character I don't use very often, and I use him for a very specific problem, and that's Green Arrow Castaway. And I primarily use him for...
I'm so upset with you right now, dude.
I use him for... Do you have the same?
Kaga, number 9, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
And yeah, go ahead and give your reasoning. I'll give you mine.
I use him. I primarily use him to solve the Enchantress problem, which you don't run into often.
Yeah. Mine was more of like a legacy pick for him because he's definitely in game still awesome. Like there are certain situations you can put him in. You don't have to. There was like a solid year and a half where he was just damn near on every team that I made. His kit is incredibly well built to where the strength doesn't even matter. Like, unlike Wonder Woman POT, where she would be greatly served by having a stat boost, even if he gets weaker and weaker, a lot of times you're not bringing him for damage. You're bringing him to strip those buffs. You're bringing him to manipulate turn meter. You're bringing him so that others on your team can manipulate turn meter and strip buffs. So like he's really, really versatile. And I can still, if I decide like I'm just going to use Kaga all week, I can. And not even struggle with it. I can just plug and play him anywhere. So yeah, he is my number 9.
It's funny that we have our 10 and 9.
But now I'm wondering. All right, I'm gonna say my number 8. Okay, fine. I'm gonna say my number 8. Let me see if
I'm pretty sure we're going to depart on this one.
Okay, because this person, this tune, has led me to want to explore different areas of the game that I didn't realize that I had not been exploring. Like you get stuck in a cycle, you keep doing it, but because of this character, I've started exploring debuffing a whole lot more, and that is the Riddler.
Oh, hilarious! That is my number 8.
You can't.
I thought for sure that this would not be the case.
You cannot be serious.
I'm serious. Riddler is my number 8. Yeah. Wow. We didn't plan any of this.
No, we did not. Well, anybody who's watched our other videos knows that we agree on some things and we disagree on certain things, but like
this is unprecedented.
My goodness. That is okay, so give me your reasoning behind the Riddler. Okay.
Well, the reason why I'm wrong and I thought that it wouldn't be your number 8 because I watched one of your videos last month where you were using Constantine.
Yeah.
And you were slotting different characters in, and I'm like, dude, why are you getting Riddler in there? Get Riddler in there, and you didn't ever put him in. So I thought maybe you ignored him, but
no, he's
gotten your attention since.
He's an absolute beast.
One of the things you're going to notice about my list here is that I have a value. I don't think this will spoil too much, but if I were to rank order skills, True Sight is very high.
Yes. Now it is incredibly high. Yes.
So Riddler has True Sight among some other characters that you'll see on my list.
Put it this way: the reason why Riddler, one of the things that convinced me as well, is because I later on did pair him with Constantine and with Lobo actually, and in each scenario, we were down and about out, but it wasn't the True Sight that saved us. It was the fact that he would constantly put death immunity on either Lobo or Constantine, like depending, because it was just the 2 left. And so we basically just never were able to be killed because he kept doing that taunt and giving us death immunity. And so then we won because we just debuffed the hell out of him and wiped him out. So, oh my God.
He's very valuable.
I am shocked. Put it this way, though. I know my number 7 won't be your number 7 because I know that this tune you will have much, much higher ranked on your list because of how much you love him.
Let's see.
So my number 7 is Red Robin.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so now it's different.
Okay, it is different. Not far off because there's some connection between mine and yours.
Okay, so like Red Robin, I think I already know what your number 7 is now. I could guess it. Red Robin, just because his ability to give you turn meter, 100% turn meter, and True Sight, that gets you around a lot of issues, especially when you're dealing with certain combinations that may show up later on in this list. But when you're trying to get around a taunter, he is probably the best option 9 times out of 10. And so I don't use him often, but I do use him often. Meaning, if I have this certain problem, he's the one I think of first because I'm going to need the True Sight, and I'm going to want to use that turn meter so I can solve this problem before it gets out of hand. So, that being said, who is your number 7?
Who do you think it is? Because you said you think you know who it is.
World's Greatest Detective.
That's it. Yeah.
Knew it. I knew it.
World's Greatest Detective.
I almost put him on my list, but he's not on my list.
And he's on my list because occasionally I will use the Lex, World's Greatest Detective, Red Robin, Donna Troy combination.
Yeah.
To solve just... I hate using it because it's so time consuming.
Yeah.
But if there's like a really high RB team that it's like, okay, especially with Spectre in it.
Yeah.
What am I? I don't want to figure this out. This will get it done. This will get the job done.
Exactly. All right.
Herpes 5, get that out of the way.
What level is your world's greatest detective right now? We had somebody ask. I think it was Chuck Nitty. He asked about world's greatest detective. And you are a WGD fan, so where's yours at right now?
Just L4 7011. I actually ran him at 6010 for when I was transitioning from 6010 to 7011 as a player.
Yeah.
Ran him as 6010 for the longest time because all you really need is his 2.
Yeah, like he doesn't really. The only reason you can't really run him 6010 is only because you're trying to keep him alive, but his utility has nothing to do with his damage. It's everything that he does around the team.
Exactly.
That's what you need.
Exactly.
Even removing buffs. I mean, like, you don't need someone to be a high level to remove buffs.
I should mention that he's also a fairly good, appropriately, a fairly good counter to Nightwing, because his 3rd will remove all buffs if the enemies have invisibility on them. All buffs.
Is a good, because I never even thought about that. I've been basically just using another one that's on this list to kind of just nuke the entire team. So,
I think that's what you're talking about.
So now that was your number 6. And my number 6 goes to a character that I find absolutely infuriating, but I can't deny her value in the game, and that's Harley Quinn, Mad Jester. Especially if you're in early to mid game, she is an absolute nightmare for you to get past if you don't have someone who has a can't miss ability. She's also can be infuriating on offense trying to use her because she's not 100% reliable, but she hits like a freaking truck. She is one of the better taunters in the game. She can be giving those int downs, hitting her AoE attack hits really hard. So she's like a legit solid. This is more like the Superwoman and Kaga picks for me, because a large part of it is just like respect because of like the nightmares she would give me in this game. So for me, Harley Quinn, Mad Jester is number 6. So then who is your number 5?
Actually, in the same category, Barda is my number 6.
Is your number 6? Barda's your number 6?
Yeah, and I'm going to say something controversial.
Really? Go ahead.
Yeah. Harley Quinn's garbage.
I
don't like her. I don't like facing her. I don't like using her.
Okay, but that doesn't make her garbage. I don't like facing her.
Well,
I don't like using her, but she's good.
I'm being a bit exaggerating here.
You're being bitter. You're being this. This is because you hate evasions, okay?
Yes, I do.
And I absolutely love evasions. So that's your hatred of evasions and hit chance downs all coming out. The things that drive you crazy. But Barda, for you, is at number 5.
Yep.
Why? I can't. I have to. Why?
Because I think she's the best red taunter in the game.
I would agree with that. I'm just surprised that 5 is where you. Okay, you know what? Then I'm gonna say my number 5 because I want to see who the rest of your list is. Then if she's 5, because I disagree. In case you couldn't tell.
But you have to remember again. I've rank ordered these by how often I use them.
And my question is how could you not be using her more often? That's the thing. Like,
because I have not been using taunters very much.
Oh, okay. See, a lot of my teams lately have been like taunter focused.
Yeah, and when we get down to my number 1 and number 2, I want to talk to you about a team that I've been using just to dominate PvP.
Okay. All right. So then my number 5 is Azrael. He's still a problem. He's not nearly the problem that he used to be, at least not from my perspective. Some of you may be like looking at it like, what are you talking about? But yeah, you use Red Robin to solve that issue. You put Red Robin with Arcus, he's no longer an issue. Or I can run the Starfire ramp team that I have and nuke the entire team. There's another person on this list who handles him very, very well. One person who won't be on this list, I'm assuming, for me and for Dr. Zabarro's Catwoman, she can handle him. So like, he's still a beast when he gets ramped, but he is not nearly as scary as he used to be. So that's why he's at my number 5.
And guess what? My number 5 is Azrael too.
Your number 5 is Azrael too.
Yep.
I can't stand you.
we have more similarities on this.
The differences, yes, really
usually.
legit. Like, really. Riddler, Superwoman, Kaga, and Azrael were all like in the exact same spot on our list. We only differed twice.
Wow. Well, I think the top 1, 2, 3, the top 4 are going to be different here.
Well, they have to be based on one thing that you've already said. But
yeah.
And I think, I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. So yeah, give me your number 4 then. Give me your number 4.
My number 4 is Red Hood.
Okay. Why?
He's very useful, especially when you do that core of Red Hood, Arcus, Red Robin, and then anyone you want in the 4th slot.
Yeah.
You can handle a lot of problems with that.
Yeah, that is true. Red Hood I love just because he's just as good on lead as he is off lead. Like on lead, that reduction of turn meter when the enemy dies is incredible. You just lock them up, and then that's just the end of the match when the first one falls. And then off lead with his bleeds, his heal immunity, multiple hits, stripping buffs. Like he is just all around awesome. So for that reason, go ahead.
One of the things that I'll say too, I've noticed, I would say in my calculation, anytime that you have a new character, you have about 1.5 years with that character before they start to become unusable. Yeah. With the exception, if the character has high utility, like their skills, skills. If they're strictly just a damage-based character, they start to lose.
They'll fall off.
Fraction about 1.5 years, I think it is.
Well, has Azrael been around for 1.5 years now, actually, right? Or a year?
No. He's been around. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
That's the tail end. They start to fade after that.
Yeah.
Like when I look at sort of some of the characters that used to be good. Mm-hmm. Remember recently just testing out Deadshot Hired Gun, for instance.
Oh yeah, used to be a beast.
I can't tell you how disappointed. He is not what he used to be at all.
At all. No. He can't even one-shot Harley Quinn anymore.
No, he's so power crept, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And these are characters that just need a little bit of boost in their stats that are still. Yeah. But Red Hood has a lot of utility, which you mentioned, right?
It's the same Kaga. It's the same thing with Kaga. It's just the utility. That's what's keeping them in the top. They've been around forever, and they'll stick around because their kits, regardless of their strength, are just useful.
Because he's not a damage dealer. He just brings a lot of utility, especially when you consider bleed is bleed. It doesn't matter.
And I will say this, I'll go and say this now since we're headed towards the top. Red Hood is number 3 on my list. So we're not far off there. So then that just leaves with my number 4 being Cassandra Cain.
And she is not on my list.
I know. I assumed that she wasn't on your list.
I will say this. I recognize her as a solid character. I just don't like evasion, so she didn't make it on my list because I don't use her.
Yeah, and I use her fairly often to solve, like, if I just need to wipe out some mystics, she can still do that on her AoE shot. Like, it's easy. She stays under evasion and under invisibility. So even if you do get an AoE attack, she's going to be missed, and she's going to then retaliate and put buff immunity on you. That's very good against certain taunters. It's even good against Barda. So, Cain is my number 4. Who is your number 3?
Well, if I can first step into the confession booth, I'll even say I RB1 Cassandra Cain.
Because she's good. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, there's no. Of course you did. Of course you did, because she's good. Like there's no like.
Like,
You can't
who
argue
I
it.
need, I said to myself, I need another red. Who can I do? Okay, well, let's do her.
Yeah,
But I still don't use her very much.
yeah, but you're not using her because you're. It's the same reason I don't use Azrael. Like I don't use
Yeah.
Azrael because I hate him because of how many people have used him, and I just like philosophically I don't like him, but he's incredible,
Mm.
and you know Cassandra Cain is incredible. You know she is.
So we on the number 3 now?
Your number 3. My number 3 was Red Hood. Your number 3 is.
And this is going to get you because you have showed reaction to this one before. You're like, really? And my number 3 is Shiva.
Shiva.
Yes, Shiva is really good.
Not even on my list.
I didn't think she would be.
And I have her L4, and there are certain situations where I do use her, and I have been trying to do like this Lady Shiva Batwoman combination, which can work out very well, especially with like Red Hood lead and Spectre. But I mean,
I will tell you this though. To get her to be a little more reliable, I had to take her L5. I don't have enough fragments to RB1. So I made an exception to L5 her.
Okay.
All that essence, even though I can't RB1 her.
Yeah.
And I took her to level 80, just so I could get her as high as I could. She's a little more reliable, but I think she would do better because she's just often will be slightly short of one-shotting a couple characters.
Exactly. And that's why I usually I've been doing the Red Hood combination, but not usually, but a lot of times I have to run her with Cheetah just so she gets her strength ups from the beginning.
Yeah, but she does work. I like her because she works very well against Spectre. If Spectre is not behind a taunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that's why Azrael's on my list, because if I'm dealing with the Spectres, Spectre's hiding behind a taunter, I'll use Azrael sometimes, depending on the composition. But you'll see in my top 2 how I'm really dealing with that these days. That being said, I want to say one other thing about Shiva. The fastest way, I've discovered the fastest way to finish the Lord of the Living.
Okay.
It's Shiva Black Flash.
Black Flash.
Yes.
Oh, because she punches under the awareness instead of removing the awareness, like World's Greatest Detective.
Yeah, it is so effective because she will one shot. Now this doesn't always work because if she doesn't crit on the first wave, then it's not 100% reliable. But most
she
of the
can't
time,
one shot the first wave, and
she usually does. In my experience, but occasionally she doesn't. But she'll one shot the first wave, and then Black Flash will take care of the rest.
Okay.
And Shiva's out of the way. This is why it's so quick.
Yeah.
To run the Lord of the Living. I used to run World's Greatest Detective.
That's the one I've been running lately.
And then before that, it was way back in the day before Black Flash. It was Black Adam.
Yeah.
But these days, it's I think Shiva Black Flash is the fastest way to do the Lord of the Living. So you don't have to spend 25 Speed Force every time that you do that.
Oh, I never do that. Well, rarely. Very rarely do I ever do that. And that's only like, it's the end of the night. I'm about to go to sleep. I don't feel like running anything. I'll just do it then. Like I do not spend 25 Speed Force on that. No chance in hell. Okay. So now I'm curious, because I know who my 1 and 2 are. Who's your number 2?
Wait, who's your number 3 again?
My number 3 was Red Hood.
Okay, yeah. My number 2, it was your number 7.
Red Robin, yeah.
Red
Why
Robin.
that's the least surprising. I don't even know why why I was like, who's your number 2? I knew who that was. I think I know who your number 1 is now based on that.
Yes. Who's my number 1?
Well, I can tell you that your number one is probably my number two.
Okay, who's your number two?
Dr. Poison.
Correct.
Yep, because Dr. Poison has like the most devastating AoE attack in the game right now, so long as there's no debuff immunity on the other side.
And here's what I'll say, because I feel like I can't talk about my number two without, in the present meta, without talking about my number one.
Yeah.
Because I'm using Dr. Poison and Red Robin together as a core.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And I'm just dominating. And here's why. I'm at a point, so I recognize that part of the fun of the game, especially for early players, is problem solving and just feeling like how do I think through this, how do I solve this, and that should be part of the fun of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm on autopilot right now. I just want to get through the day and be done with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably need to take a break for a bit. And so I'm just looking for the team that will get me through PvP the quickest.
Yeah.
And so the team that I'm using most is the core Dr. Poison, Red Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Then I usually slot Spectre in the 4 slot. And then you can use any leader that you want, but I've been using Brainiac a lot as the leader.
Okay.
Occasionally Superman, a lot of Aquaman, even Hal Jordan.
Red Hood would be good.
A lot of different leaders depending on the scenario.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not facing Tara or Hal Jordan in the opposing team, then you can be one and done. Now, I know one of your subscribers, when you talked about Dr. Poison last year in one of your episodes, commented, she's a one-trick pony.
So you can't be a trick, though.
I'll have to admit I laughed out loud at that comment because I'm like, what does it matter if that trick, that one quote-unquote one trick, just obliterates the other team?
Yeah.
Who needs a second trick?
I mean about Starfire versus Arcus, though. You realize that, right? Everyone's like, that's a one-trick pony. And I was like, yeah, but her AoE attack wipes. So I only need the one trick.
Yeah, but my contention with that was she has to ramp, and she's not set up to. For one, she can't do it on auto.
Yeah.
You have to do it manually and other such things.
Yeah.
So, but I've just been ripping through PvP with usually Brainiac, Dr. Poison, Red Robin, Spectre, just ripping through. Because what happens, I pass the first turn to Dr. Poison, wipe out a bunch of the players, and then what isn't killed, Spectre cleans up.
Yeah. Well, I've actually, because there's this ramp team I have that's Lex, Red Robin, Hippolyta, and Starfire, and literally what I've done is replaced Starfire with Dr. Poison because she's also special damage. So if I ramp her up with those int ups in that same scenario, then she's wiping out even energy. So like it can be pretty devastating.
In Brainiac, I'm getting a lot of play out of Brainiac with this team.
I really don't use Brainiac that much. What am I missing?
I haven't used him a lot in a long time, but with this particular composition, I'm getting a lot of play out of him.
Okay.
Because Martian Manhunter you're seeing him less often.
Yeah.
So because of that, you can actually get sort of the first turn advantage, even with the speedsters on the other team. That 15% start of the battle turn meter up. It works as long as there isn't
Cheetah or
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm seeing Wonder Girl a lot more these days.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well too.
So he protects against her. He also